Hey, what is up YouTube? We are back with another deck profile, and this time we got another fun deck, and that is going to be the Rotom V deck, as well as we have Porygon 2. We have a bunch of fun stuff, lots of tools in this deck. Let's get right onto the list. So we're going to start off with our main attacker, and our main attacker is Rotom V from Lost Origin. It is a lightning type basic 2-prize Pokemon V with 190 HP. It has a weakness to fighting, no resistance, as well as a 1 retreat cost. Now it does have the ability Instant Charge. Once during your turn, you may draw 3 cards. If you use this ability, your turn ends. So basically on the first 1 to maybe 2 turns of the game, ideally first turn, when you're gonna end your turn, you're gonna use Instant Charge just to draw a nice cheeky 3 cards, because drawing cards is very good. It also has 1 attack, Scrap Short. For 2 lightning, it does 40 damage plus put any number of Pokemon tool cards from your discard pile into the Lost Zone. This attack does 40 more damage for each card put in the Lost Zone in this way. So 40 base damage. If you're putting no tools in, it does a guaranteed 40, and then for every other tool you put into the Lost Zone, it does an extra 40 damage. Now that is very good. We are a lightning Pokemon, so we do hit weakness on Palkia, as well as Radiant Greninja, which is pretty relevant in my opinion. We can do a lot of damage because we play a lot, and I mean a lot of item tool cards. So we can do a lot of damage in this way. This is the main attacker. We play 4 because we want to open it to use that Instant Charge ability, but we do have 2 backup attackers. So in an ideal game, you're going to want to attack with 2 of these and then let your other backup attackers do the rest of the damage, because your opponent just needs to knock out 3 Rotoms to win, versus if they knock out 2 Rotoms and are 2 backup attackers, they take their 6 prizes. So forcing them to take the backup attackers makes them take 2 more knockouts. And then for our backup attacker, it is going to be Porygon 2 from Lost Origin. It is a stage 1 colorless Pokemon with 90 HP, weakness to fighting, 0 resistance, and a 1 retreat cost. Now why are we playing this, you might ask? Because it has the attack Garbage Attack, which might be a garbage attack, we don't know. For 1 colorless, which is good because we play lightning energies, so that means it fits in perfectly here. This attack does 20 damage for each tool card in your Lost Zone, both yours and your opponent's, so that is something to keep in mind. But basically the synergy with this is Scrap Shot puts tools into the Lost Zone. So you use 2 of these to put a lot of tools in, and then Garbage Attack does 20 for each one there, so you can clean up attackers, or you can take other knockouts with Garbage Attack. Now we are playing 2 Porygon 2, so that means we are also playing 2 Porygons. This is the one from Lost Origin. Honestly, there's no right or wrong Porygon to play. Just figured since this is in the same set, we should probably use it. Now for our onboard draw, we are playing 2 copies of Barrel. For the Industrious and Scissors ability, once during your turn you may draw cards until you have 5 in your hand. Very good because we play ways to thin our hand. So we're hoping to use the ability to draw cards into our hand, thin it, and then draw more cards, and then thin it to use Scrap Short to attack and do lots of damage. Now we are playing 2 Barrels. We're also playing 3 Bidoofs. We play Bidoof simply because we have to evolve into Barrel. We play 3 just so we have an extra odds at opening it to put it onto our bench to hopefully find a Barrel in the next turn to evolve and start drawing cards. Now we're going to have a lot of bench sitters, so to protect those bench sitters, we are playing 1 copy of Manaphy for the Wave Veil ability. Prevent all damage done to your bench Pokemon by attacks from your opponent's Pokemon. This stops Rapid Strike Urshifu, this stops Radiant Greninja. It does not stop Sableye, but we do play a card that does stop Sableye. We also play 1 copy of Lumineon V from Brilliant Stars. We play it for the Luminous Sign ability. When you play this Pokemon from your hand onto your bench during your turn, you may search your deck for a supporter card, reveal it, put it into your hand, and then shuffle your deck. It's basically a lot like Tapu Lele if you played in the Sun and Moon era. Gets us our supporters. We don't play a lot of supporters, so finding it on a guaranteed, I guess, a ball search is very handy to get going. Now for our supporters, we play 4 copies of Professor's Research. basic supporter card, discard your hand and draw 7 cards as the effect. We want to discard lots of cards. Mainly, we want to discard our tools. We play lots of tools, so we're probably going to discard a lot of them with research to then put them in the lost zone with scrap short. We also play 1 copy of boss's orders. Now our plan is to blow up whatever is in the active, but sometimes we do want that boss. So we do play 1 copy. It is very good late game when you're attacking with Porygon 2 because you can bosses up a Pokemon V with 220 HP, hit that very easily and take 2 prizes. And then as well as there's no real way to accelerate lightning energy, we are playing 1 copy of Raihan. You can only play this card if one of your Pokemon were knocked out during your opponent's last turn. Attach a basic energy card from your discard pile to one of your Pokemon. If you do, search your deck for a card, put into your hand and shuffle your deck. Very good at accelerating energy, especially at searching 1 card is very valuable, considering that could be the 1 card we need to draw more cards. Like it could be an Ultra Ball for Babero, and the 2 cards we discard off Ultra Ball could be tools to then get more tools into the discard and then draw more cards with Industrious Incisors. So that is actually going to be it for supporters. We only play 6 supporters, not too many, but we don't really need too many considering we have an onboard draw engine in Babero and our attack game plan is very linear. Now for item cards, we are playing 4 copies of Ultra Ball. You can only play this card if you discard 2 cards from your hand, search your deck for a Pokemon, reveal it, and then put it into your hand and shuffle your deck. This searches out all our Pokemon as well as discarding cards from our hand, ideally being Pokemon tool cards. And speaking of Pokemon tools, our first tool that we do play is 4 copies of Choice Belt. Obviously, Choice Belt, a very staple card. When you attach this to a Pokemon, its attacks do 30 more damage to Pokemon Vs. So it allows us to hit Pokemon Vs easier, as well as it is a tool card. So if we discard it, it's still going to do more damage to our opponent's Pokemon. So we do play a maximum amount of 4 because we would like to attach it in certain situations, but we are okay discarding it because it fuels our scrap short attack on Rotom. We're also playing 4 copies of Quick Ball, gets us our basic Pokemon, puts a card from our hand into the discard. We obviously want that card to be a Pokemon tool. Now the next card we play is another 4 of, lots of 4 ofs in this list, and that is going to be 4 copies of Cramomatic. I think Cramomatic is busted in this list. Cramomatic's effect is, you can only use this card if you discard another item card from your hand. Since we're going to have lots and lots of item cards in our hand, we're always going to have one to discard. Flip a coin, if heads, search your deck for a card, put it into your hand, and then shuffle your deck. So basically we get to discard a tool because we're going to have lots of tools in hand. And maybe we can even search out another tool to then discard that with a Research, Quick Ball, or Ultra Ball, who knows. Now since we have no way to power up a Rotom in 1 turn because we have no real acceleration, we are playing 4 copies of EXP Share. Now EXP Share is not a card you see too often. The effect on it is when your active Pokemon is knocked out by damage from an attack from your opponent's Pokemon, you may move a basic energy card from that Pokemon to the Pokemon this card is attached to. So we're going to attach this to one of our bench Rotoms or maybe a Porygon. And then when our active Rotom gets knocked out, we can put that energy onto the Pokemon this is attached to. Now what is good is we can have 2 of these, one on a, let's say Rotom, one on a Porygon. We can have a Rotom V get knocked out with 2 energy on it, and 1 energy would go here and 1 energy would go there. So we get to keep all our energy on board, which is why I think EXP Share is so good. We want a 4 of it simply because we want to find it as soon as possible so we can attach it to our Pokemon, because it's only really good in the early stages of the game, as well as we want something to be discarded so we can do more damage with scrap short. Now we do have some bench sitters, but every Pokemon has 2 retreat cost or less. So of course we got to play a tool card that gives us retreat, and that is going to be Air Balloon. Gives us all our Pokemon free retreat because everything is under 2 colorless or less. And it is another tool card to do more damage with Rotom V. Now we're getting into our 3 ofs. We play 3 copies of Cape of Toughness. Our first Rotom V that we attack with, we kind of either want Choice Belt or Cape of Toughness just to make ourselves a bit tankier. The effect on Cape of Toughness is the basic Pokemon this card is attached to gets 50 more HP, except Pokemon GX. And we are a Pokemon V, so we get to capitalize on this a lot. Now the next card is 3 copies of Big Parasol. You're probably asking, what does Big Parasol do? Why are we playing it? What is the card we want to use Big Parasol against? So the effect on Big Parasol is, as long as the Pokemon this card is attached to is in the active spot, prevent all effects of attacks from your opponent's Pokemon done to all your Pokemon. Why is this good? First of all, it stops Star Requiem on Giratina V-Star, but Giratina V-Star just is going to one-shot us with Lost Impact anyways. But what Big Parasol prevents is the damage counters placed with Lost Mind on Sableye from Lost Origin. Placing damage counters is not considered damage, it is considered an effect. So if Big Parasol isn't our active, our opponent's Sableye can't spread damage, so they can't do damage to any of our Pokemon actually. So they kind of just have to use Scratch for 20 damage, which isn't ideal for them. And then rounding off our list, we play 1 copy of Palpad, shuffle up to 2 supporter cards from your discard pile into your deck. We play so few supporters that when we throw them away, we want to get them back. Palpad does the trick. As well as we play 1 copy of Ordinary Rod, choose 1 or both, shuffle up to 2 Pokemon from your discard pile into your deck, shuffle up to 2 basic energy cards from your discard pile into your deck. If we discard Manaphy, Barrels, or Porygon 2 pieces early, we can use this to get that back, as well as getting back energy is very good. And then finally, we are playing energy. To power up our attackers, we are playing a total of 7 copies of basic lightning energy. I have seen some lists play speed energy, which is good. It does draw you 2 more cards, but in the end, I don't think it really is necessary, considering that can't be reused with EXP share, as well as you can't Raihan the energy into the deck, and you can't use Ordinary Rod. So in my opinion, I think the basic lightning energy is a lot better in the long run, simply for consistency reasons. And that is going to be the list. What do you guys think of this? Are you guys going to try this out for yourselves? If you do, let me know in the comments section how you did, as well as if you want these cards or any other cards to play, or maybe even collect. You can check out the guys over at Deckout Gaming. You can use my promo code YBMCards for 5% off at checkout. That saves 5% off the entire store. It saves you a little bit of money, as well as it helps out the channel over here. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.